The original Lilith was both a physical tank and a magical tank, though she leaned a bit more towards spirit with her kit. With that in mind, it feels weird that she of all units got the Super Lilith Burst treatment, especially when it makes her compete with the manliest man and the bustiest bot. Elegant Temptress Lilith's Trustmaster reward is a materia that boosts both HP and defense by 40%, dark resistance by 50%, and boosts your unit's equipment defense by 50% while they're carrying a single weapon with or without a shield. It's certainly meant for physical tanks, and that dark resistance is pretty decent too. Her Super Trustmaster reward is a two-handed mace of high HP, some attack, and high defense. Equipping it gives your unit a strong HP and MP regen. When equipped to Lilith, it gives her 500 extra HP and defense. On to her active abilities. Lilith's attacks deal flexible physical damage that scales with her defense and morale. She has one magic spell, Bar Darkjaw, which boosts your team's dark resistance by 200%, gives them a 50% physical, magical, and general mitigation buff, and fills their team's Lilith burst gauges. It's a great ability with that Lilith burst boost, but that MP cost is pretty heavy. Enchanting Seductress is basically the upgraded cover ability you see on all Japanese tanks. Although it does have additional mitigation against stones and reapers, but that buff only affects her. Kiss of Desire has a chance to inflict charm, but then it's really just provoke too, giving her a provoke and 75% general mitigation buff. Kiss of Rapture has a small chance to inflict charm, deals damage at chains of bolting strike, and recovers your team's HP and MP. Kiss of Betrayal is a bit stronger, dealing more damage and inflicting a 20% Mason Peril. Unstoppable Corruption inflicts a 130% Dark Imperil, imbues Dark onto your team, boosts Lilith's defense and spirit by 300%, and shrink her own dark damage by 60%. Shroud of Spirits gives Lilith a Omni cover with a 90% general mitigation buff. Veil of Night can be used once per battle. It reduces Lilith's own dark resistance by 100%, but not to worry, as she'll be able to absorb dark damage during that turn. She also imbues Dark onto your enemies in order to make sure she doesn't get damaged by a stray hit. A Unending Nightmare can also only be used once per battle. It gives Lilith a re-raise buff, fills her Lilith burst gauge, gives her team a whopping 75% physical mitigation buff against stones and reapers, and gives them a physical killer buff against said species as well. Passives. With her Trustmaster reward or Super Trustmaster reward equipped, Lilith gets 500 defense and access to a counterattack called Rousing Dream. Rousing Dream has a chance to inflict charm, deal a single hit, fills your team's Lilith burst gauges, and boosts the morale gauge. While it does sound like it has immense potential, it must be noted that this is a scripted ability with a use lock. Chow is different because his morale abuse is tied to a normal attack. Speaking of which, she also changes her normal attack to Dance of a Demoness, Dazzling Demoness, which has a chance to inflict most status ailments and restores a percentage of your team's HP and MP. At the start of the battle, she'll automatically activate Succubus Guard, which boosts your team's dark resistance by 200% and activates a weak physical cover. She also has a bit of physical evasion and prefers to carry a single weapon, meaning half the cap to the chain lamp boost. She's also got another counterattack called Sultry Dream, which has a small chance to inflict charm, deal the same amount of damage as the previous counterattack, but this time the recovery effects heals her team's HP and MP, and fills her own limit burst gauge. The passive also includes a guts buff and a big boost to limit burst damage. She's got a big boost to passive provoke, 75%, alongside some chaining boosts that can help her counterattacks. At EX+2 she gets Succubus Awaken, which gives her 500 HP in defense, and lets her start the battle with Bewitching Allure, which might inflict charm, but more importantly, Warring Spirit. It also gives her a 30% boost to magic evasion. At EX+3 she gets 650 HP in defense, and gets the counter of Enigmatic Dream, which deals more damage than Rousing Dream, and switches out the recovery effects for an accuracy debuff, and boosts the damage modifier for counterattacks. Her elemental resistance is pretty good, especially dark. Very nice. Let's look at her Lilith Burst. It deals damage to Chains of Extreme Nova, gives your team a 70% general and physical mitigation buff, and activates a stronger physical cover. As a Super Lilith Burst user, Lilith has access to Defense Shift, which automatically boosts her defense by 250%, her Lilith Burst damage by 200%, and fills her Lilith Burst gauge when the Super Lilith Burst is ready to go. The Super Lilith Burst will enable self-chaining for her active abilities, and her Super Lilith Burst boosts her Lilith Burst damage by 250% because that Super Lilith Burst buff isn't good enough. Use better damage that also Chains of Extreme Nova, and gives your team a 75% general mitigation buff. Let's rank Brave abilities. I'd prioritize Rousing Dream to raise its counter chance, but it should land anyways unless you're really unlucky. Raising Kiss of Betrayal just increases its damage. The resulting modifier isn't that great without the presence of a morale gauge. Time to make a damage rotation. On turn 1, cast Unstoppable Corruption and double cast Kiss of Betrayal. And from here, you're just going to cast Kiss of Betrayal while prioritizing her limit burst. Of course, as a tank, she'll likely be tanking, so obviously, don't just do damage. So, EX2. As a super limit burst user, Lilith automatically benefits from additional EX awakenings. It really helps in her case. EX plus 2 gives her Super Trustmaster reward, more stats, magic evasion, an instant limit burst, and better charm chance. Sure, why not? The instant limit burst is great for Lilith, given it lets her start the battle with her best physical cover, and throws on some strong mitigation for your team as well. Her Super Trustmaster reward, aside from stats, is useful for its regeneration, which can let Lilith spam heavy support abilities, or just better balance her kit. EX plus 3 gives more stats, and a counter ability that strengthens her counter abilities. This does have potential to actually be powerful, depending on the number of counter attacks you can land, but it does have a cap, and needs a counter chain if you want to really maximize damage. Ultimately, I think most players won't be taking advantage of the extra damage, but with the right setup you could have some fun. So how good is elegant Temptress Lilith? She's a strong damage dealer and a sturdy tank, but as a super limit burst physical tank, she must compete with the sexiest, curviest, shiniest tank of them all, EX plus 3 Runda. And unfortunately for Lilith, Runda's still generally a better tank. Being EX plus 3 and free is a big deal, especially since Lilith's best mitigation buffs won't be up all the time without hitting that same level, not to mention the fact that her mitigation levels are just inferior to his. But her limit burst does make her cover better, and with enough counter attacks, it shouldn't be too difficult to maintain that, though it does become a bit of an issue if you've got to worry about magic attacks. Now this sounds detrimental, but nevertheless, Lilith is still one of the best physical tanks in the game. A strong Omni cover and Dark Nullification are two very potent tools, though admittedly only last for one turn each. But how about her damage? Outside of morale fights, her modifier is actually very respectable, surpassing Esther unless she's paired with Sylvie. With the standalone standards, she'd be around Jet Strength and Dark Damage, which isn't terrible for her tank, and you have to keep in mind she's also flexible, meaning she can get stronger with certain supports. But with maximum morale, she also boasts one of the best modifiers in the game, second only to EX plus 2 Ibarra, which, admittedly, just goes to show that modifiers, though significant, aren't everything. Indeed, in Lilith's case, maximum damage can be dependent on a huge set of external support or equipment. Some defense boosting items like Warrior of Light stuff will certainly help, but you can't forget about Sylvie's support or Tyvus' Spirit, which Lilith can definitely take advantage of, being a physical damage dealer. However, having her ability scale off morale does lock her out from other cool things, such as Jet's Super Trustmaster reward, but even without that she's got huge potential. But what about her support? Well, she's not a support, who cares? But yeah, I guess it is a shame that her killers are only physical and on a Magnus ability, and sure her Dark Imbue doesn't amplify the dark damage for everyone else, but she's not a support. Ultimately, Lilith is a strong unit. She may not be free, tanky, or arguably as sexy as Runda, but she can certainly bring the pain of her damage capabilities. She gets even better with more EX awakenings, especially since she's a super limit burst user, but she's still very good even if you can't reach those heights. Thanks for watching, and if you liked this video, leave a like and subscribe. Comment below if you summon elegant Temptress Lilith. Despite Runda being amazing, it's just the fact that his damage is bad, and adding another damage dealer could potentially increase her score in any ranking event. Admittedly, that means nothing to me,